Nie ma czasu na gadanie. To już jest hogwarcanie. Ruszajmy! Zaraz zamykamy bibliotekę, o tej godzinie można tu się kręcić. Wężoptak? No wąż ze skrzydłami. Złoty znikacz. Co? Ja nie wiem, co to jest znikacz, kurwa. Ale złoty znikacz? Wiesz co, to będzie złoty znikacz chyba.
The golden snidget.
Correct.
Przecież to już trzeba być chyba głuptacem, żeby nie wiedzieć. Na pewno nie jest to wywar z raptuśnika. I oczywiście, że to nie jest eliksir pieprzowy, który powoduje, że każdy kicha. Felixus feliatus felicis, czyli oczywiście eliksir szczęścia, płynne szczęście.
Felix Felicis.
Well done.
Tak jest.
Since it makes the drinker temporarily lucky, Felix Felicis is a banned substance in all organized competitions.
Artefakty o trzech braciach. Insygnie śmierci to będą? Oczywiście insygnia śmierci, to było w filmie, nie? Jasne, że tak.
The Deathly Hallows.
Correct.
Jest!
According to Beedle the Bard, the Deathly Hallows consists of the Elder Wand, the Resurrection Stone,
Dokładnie
and the Cloak
tak.
of Invisibility.
Czarna różdżka.
Polyjuice Potion allows the drinker to change species.
Gatunek? Nie, wygląd. Fałsz.
False.
Correct. Thank you for humoring me by participating. I had a splendid
Ale też,
time.
rozgrzałem sobie trochę banie tymi pytaniami.
I put the book back on the pedestal for you.
A to nie będzie zadania?
Revelio ought to make quick work of this.
Myślałem, że to było jakieś zadanie, zaliczone będzie.
Professor Weasley's tasks are complete. I should attend
widzenia.
Transfiguration.
Logan, szybko na ławki.
Transfiguration, as you may be weary of hearing me say, is an exact science that can take a lifetime to master. But we needn't be daunted. Almost anything can be transformed if you can just perceive the potential within it. As I see in all of you, tremendous witches and wizards, every one of you. Or it could just be my eyesight.
Motyl.
Now, you all know what to do.
No ale co? Bo pani nic nie mówiła tak naprawdę, co trzeba zrobić. Okej. Uczymy się. Trójkąt. Kwadracik. Jest! Ostatnie zaklęcie zostało odkryte przez naszego ucznia. Teraz pokaż, co cię stadzie, ludzi.
Beautifully done.
Czy ja dobrze widzę, czy to jest platynowe trofeum zdobyte? Pierwsze w tej gierce? O, tak jest. Pierwsza platyna. Jakie to było zadanko. Dziękuję widzowie, możemy tutaj oklaski zajebać. Siemanko, profesor Weasley. Dziękuję za hojną naukę.
Discuss my progress so far this term, Professor.
I do. You seem to have had no trouble in getting up to speed, and frankly, excelling in your schoolwork this year.
I'm glad to hear it. I'm not certain I needed all the extra assignments.
And I'm certain you would not have been as successful without them. Now, it seems you've been making excellent use of the opportunities presented by your field guide. Of course, the guide isn't the only measure of success. I've heard that you can brew an impressive Edurus potion. Hopefully, you won't need it anytime soon, but it is a valuable potion to have when it is needed.
Thank you, Professor.
I will say I'm especially impressed with all you've accomplished in light of the rumors of your extracurricular activities. Were your meetings with Professor Black's house elf and exploration of various caves down by the lake
Ale
connected
wścibska.
in any way to
Ale ona coś tam wie,
Professor
więc trzeba jej powiedzieć. No tak,
Professor
ma
Fig
pani
has
rację.
encouraged me to explore when I can in an effort to complete my field guide.
I see.
Siema, Kielon.
I admire your penchant for learning, but do remember that your classwork and field guide are designed to educate you thoroughly. It'll be the end of the year in no time, and you'll want to
Tego
be
się
well
obawiam,
prepared
koniec
for
roku
your
i powrót do domu.
OWLs.
Koniec magii w
I'll
moim
provide
życiu.
a final assessment at that time to ensure that you're ready for your exams. Until then, well done. You are dismissed.
No, dziękuję. Pochwały od wicedyrektorki to... że to czekałem. Ukończ zadania 6 na 6. Nice. Okej, wypróbujemy tę zmiennokształtność całą. Wow.
Since our visit to Feldcroft, something dawned on me about the triptych. Meet me at the Overlook, just north of the Forbidden Forest. and I'll explain.
Sebastian chce się spotkać. Ma co zwlekać.
My plan with the helmet failed, but I have another idea. I think we may be able to find what we need at a goblin mine south of
Lodkok.
Hogwarts. Meet me there, and bring someone who speaks gobbledygook.
Tutaj. Grobowisko, cmentarzysko.
I'd been so distracted by the scriptorium and Slytherin's book that I'd almost forgotten what it was that struck me about that triptych. This is the view painted on the canvas that was left on it.
That's incredible. You know this area well.
And while I was waiting for you, I scouted around and discovered an abandoned mine nearby, surrounded by Ranrock's loyalists.
Do you
Okej.
think there's a connection to the triptych?
I've no idea, but perhaps they're searching it, the way they did Rookwood Castle and Isidora's Manor. How do we want to handle this?
Jasne, można nam się udać. Uda nam się pozostać niezauważonymi. Wiesz o co chodzi. Na tajniaku możemy to
We need to
zrobić.
see what they're doing, but let's not draw their attention.
Very well.
And I still have that rune symbol we found on the triptych. If there is a connection, I suspect we'll see
Za
that symbol
wiele
again.
wątków zaczyna się splatać w jedną całość. Coś tu
After
śmierdzi. Dawno. Znaczy, to ty prowadzisz. Nieważne. Wow, wjazd! O, myślę, że wbiłem 31.
Too many. They definitely think there's something here they want. Revelio.
O, pająki. Poszedł. Widziałem już gdzieś ten stół. Isidora to była ta dziewczyna, kobitka, która się uczyła w Hogwarcie i spotkała te cztery główne postacie, które nam dyktują questy. Tych Merlinów całych.
What do you have there?
A journal entry by Isadora.
Hopefully it will help us unravel more of this mystery.
If the triptych led us here to find this bit of canvas, we can probably assume that Isadora Morganark was here.
She seems to have been everywhere.
But if she was using the Undercroft and the cellar beneath her manor in Feldcroft, why would she create this space?
And why hide it behind cryptic rune symbols and ancient magic that no one but you could see?
Isadora and Percival Rackham, another of the keepers, could see traces of ancient magic too.
Rackham? I haven't heard his name before.
Here's are some of the memories I've seen. I don't think he and Isadora saw eye to eye on how this magic should be used.
This is all rather baffling. Let's take the canvas back to the triptych. Perhaps the answers are there. This place is odd, to be sure, but I'm fascinated by it. Now, for the trek back out of here and to Hogwarts.
To połączenie z Hogwartem. Okej, to jest pierwsza część. Może jak połączymy, to się jakaś postawi...
Please tell me you
Ty,
recognize
może ta
the location
Isidora
in
tu
this
się
bit of
pojawi.
canvas.
The good news is I do, in fact.
And the bad news?
We're in for more trouble.
A, zaczyna łączyć kropki, stary.
I know that coast. Ranrock has taken over a huge mine in the surrounding area. Marrenweem has suffered for it. It's as bad as Feldcroft's become. Should we head there now?
We should wait.
Why?
All this time, we've been a step behind Ranrock.
Goblin o imieniu Lodkok. Wysłał mi teraz maila. Przewinął mi temat, że ma sposób na tego całego Rangaroka.
A friendly goblin. He wants no part in Ranrock's fight.
A
Ranroka.
friendly goblin? You know goblins cursed my sister to shut her up. Said she should be seen and not heard.
I do, but not all goblins are...
Not all goblins what? Have you forgotten Feldcroft? Have you forgotten the mine
Może
we
Sebastian
just
ma
went
rację
through?
i ten gość też nas
Sebastian, I
wiecie,
haven't.
wykiwa?
You're not listening to me.
Why would I listen to someone so ignorant?
Kurczę, no, nie myślisz jasno, coś czarna magia ci chyba założyła czarne okulary na banie.
You don't know what you're saying. Take a breath for a moment.
Oh, I know precisely what I'm saying. Unbelievable.
Kurde, jak się pospinał, to co teraz zablokujemy tam tego questa? Dobra, coś świruje. I tak zrobimy tego questa, tak czy siak. Czy chyba wstaje słońce, tak? Zaczyna się dzionek.
Mysterious and a bit unsettling.
You're
O,
here.
siema Seba!
Good.
Przeszło ci już?
Sebastian, that relic you mentioned,
Don't think I've forgotten about your goblin friend. I haven't. But I needed to tell you what I've learned. I believe one of Slytherin's students stumbled upon the relic during an assignment to study sarcophagi in this catacomb. From what I read in a report by the student, they weren't permitted to take it with them, so I must assume it's still here. As I mentioned earlier, this relic grants its holder the power to reverse dark magic curses. If it's in this catacomb, I have to find it. For Anne. I need
Zrobimy
to
to
see
dla
her.
niej. Okej, rozejrzymy się w takim razie po
I'm ready to
katakumbach, bratku.
explore the catacomb.
Nierozważny wspomniał w raporcie o znalezionym relikcie i napomniano mnie, abym go nie ruszał, ale badania są ważniejsze niż moja wierność zasadom. Słyszałem, że osoby wybrane przez różdżki z dębu szpółkowego władają potężną intuicją. Ja w to wierzę. Wyczarowałem 2 bariery, aby odizolować relikt.
What did you find?
Accio!
Do końca sam nie wiem. Raport uczniowski. Zadanie w katakumbach dało niespodziewane dobre wyniki. Nowa wiedza o naszych przodkach otworzyła mi oczy, ale jednego nie mogę zignorować. W podniszczonej wnęce, za wielką salą, pośród wywróconych sarkofagów, znajdował się relikt o dziwnym kształcie. Jego moc była łatwo wyczuwalna. Byłbym w niebo wzięty, gdybym mógł go przebadać. Ale zbieranie przedmiotów jest zabronione.
There's more to this than even I imagined. Accio! Bones stacked oddly on either side of this archway.
Znowu kości.
Leave no stone unturned.
Tu kości,
Or
tam
in this
kości.
case, no bone.
Przedostać się za barykadę. Może trzeba te kości ułożyć tam.
Wingardium Leviosa!
O! A, to by się... To by miało sens.
Wingardium Leviosa!
Potrzebuję jeszcze trzeciej. Może tutaj.
Accio! Wingardium Leviosa!
Chyba działa,
done it.
Sebastianie.
I knew we'd get through. I felt it in my bones.
Tak, czyli...
Nice.
By wejścia było naprawdę sporo trupów tutaj. Dokładnie 3. Prawdopodobnie to czas na
Before
bossa.
we trudge on further, I've just The student's diary mentions the Imperious Curse. I wouldn't be surprised if we're going to need it here. It's an unforgivable, but useful when you're outnumbered.
Jak niewybaczalne, jak ja tym Crucius napierdala mi, nikt mi jeszcze nawet listu z Ministerstwa Magii nie przysłał.
If you'd like to learn Imperio, I can teach you.
W początku
Where did you
skąd to
learn
zna,
the
trzeba się
Imperious
dowiedzieć.
curse?
I taught myself. Don't tell Ominous that I've told you. It's not exactly something I can brag about, but it may come in handy. I think you ought to know it.
Okej, chętnie nauczyć zaklęcia. Ciekawe, czy są tacy gracze, którzy odmawiają.
It's probably wise to know the
Wyniaty z
spell.
Gryffindoru
Couldn't
tacy.
agree more.
To odgrywają
Spell that could
100%
save your
RP
life shouldn't be
gryffindorskie.
unforgivable. You have a lot at stake. You have an ability that evidently no one's seen for centuries. Focus your wand movement. It's not an easy spell to master.
Chyba rzeczywiście jest dojebanie ciężkie.
There we go. Something troubling ahead. Be on your guard.
Confringo!
Relikt aż kipi od energii. Jego możliwości mogą przysłużyć się nie tylko czarodziejom, ale też całemu światu. Ale mroczna ofiara, która pozwoli wyzwolić jego potencjał, może być zbyt wielka.
Sebastian!
To jest
The
to!
relic! Look!
Relic!
Could it be?
O, to niesamowite, odszukaliśmy go!
The note and rendition of the relic. It matches. This must be where the student left the relic.
I can't believe it. After all this, it lines up. We've really found it.
What do you suppose is meant by the dark sacrifice required to realize the relic's
Chodzi
potential?
o śmierć.
I have no idea. But we're here for the relic.
Okej, potrzebujemy tego reliktu. Jak nikt go nie mógł wynieść, to w końcu sprzedamy klątwę. Może nauczymy się go obsługiwać.
I'm willing to ignore what the journal entry says. We're taking the relic.
Agreed. This is meant to be.
Tak jest, czarna magia zaczyna wypełniać naszą
I'm
postać.
taking it. Let's get to Feldcroft.
Badamy stąd.
Is that
O!
ominous?
Potomek Voldemorta! Co on tu robi? Ej, co on tu kurwa robi? Ej, to jest coś tu śmierdzi, stary. On jest kurwa ślepy i odpierdala takie akcje, szuka nas, no to jest dziwne.
Ominous.
Co tu robisz, Ominis?
Sounds we kept hearing. It was you.
You gave me no choice. I had to follow you. Sebastian, please, leave the relic alone. We can find another way to help Anne.
I'm sorry, Ominous, but I'm taking it.
No, you're not. If you won't put it back, then I will. Hold on, both of you. Sebastian, please, take a step back.
Fine, but Ominous knows. I won't step
Elo
back
panowie,
from
no
the
przecież to
fight.
będzie bratobójcza
Can't
walka.
believe this.
Co jest? Ej, nie, spokojnie, musimy walczyć. Dogadajmy się, my to zgarniemy i spróbujemy.
How much
Jakby nie
did
będzie
you
działać,
hear?
to oddamy.
Everything. I heard you encourage Sebastian to take the relic. Sebastian's done his research. He knows what he's doing. Sebastian makes things sound easy when they could be impossible or dangerous. We need to stop him. And if nothing will change his mind? Something has to. I need your help.
Potrzebuję twojej pomocy. No, Sebastian ma rację, wyjebane.
Sebastian's right. We need that relic. I'm sorry. My mind is made up. Are you willing to sacrifice your friendship over this? I might be. How could I choose to stand by and watch him do this? What if the choice wasn't yours? You wouldn't be to blame for what happens. What in the world are you suggesting? Imperium?
Tak, dokładnie to sugeruję.
That's what I'm saying. I would take all responsibility. This could save your friendship. I know how to cast it. Sebastian taught me. But I won't do it unless you agree. This is insanity. I can't believe you would ask.
Muszę go przekonać.
Sebastian is never going to give up trying to cure Anne. If you try and stop him now, he'll never forgive you. Fine. This is unfathomable. But I suppose if you want that responsibility, it may
Na
just save
pewno jest
what's
wyjście,
left
no.
of my friendship with Sebastian. Remember, this is what I was telling you about the dark arts. They come with a cost. You may well regret making this choice.
Co ty
Do what you
pieprzysz?
have to do. Cast it. Before I change my mind. Imperium!
Imperio!
Step aside, Ominous. Stay in place until we're out of sight. I will.
Zejdź mi z drogi.
Sebastian, come on.
Sebastianie, możemy już iść.
What did you do?
To, co musiałem zrobić. To, co... Kurwa, nie ta maska, ja pierdolę. To, co musiałem zrobić. Za mną.
Imperio. It was the only way to get out of here without a fight.
A teraz waruj tu, psie.
Ominous.
Wrócisz za godzinę do
Sorry.
Hogwartu. Przekonałem go
Sebastian, we have
pójdami.
to go.
Nakłamałem go, że stream będzie za 3 godziny, a on tu będzie czekać do samego rana. Za mną. Potężny Elo fucking G, Dark Wizard. Dark Logan V3, Meijin, kurwa Logan. Szybko, gazu, zanim mi tutaj ludzie rana Roroka. Wracamy, musimy zdać raport.
They're under attack.
Let's hurry.
Wszyscy cali? Zaraza ich dopadła. Nie, dlaczego chce zabić kobietę? Co to pojeb? Nie! Awada kadabra. Seba jest odjebany od rzeczywistości ciężko. Jo.
Holy shit.
Boy! What have you done?
Saved my sister.
With an unforgivable curse. From that damned book, no doubt. Your father would be ashamed. You've gone too far, Sebastian. Stay away from her. From all of us.
To było zajebiste, Seba. Ale mogę, wiesz, to zrobić i zawładnąć nim i nią i ona jego by zabiła.
Anne's life. That goblin was going to kill her.
Nie, postąpiłeś zajebiście, stary. Moim zdaniem to powinno lecieć
You
na
did
synapsy
what you
na
had to
te
do.
najlepsze szoty.
If I have to keep proving that to my uncle, I will. He cannot banish me from my own home. From my sister.
It might be best to let him calm down a while. May I speak to him? Perhaps I can
Ja z nim
help to
pogadam,
ease
stary,
the
no zrobiłeś
tension a bit.
dobrze.
You may be right. Very well. Probably best if I get away from here for a while. I'll head back to Hogwarts.
Kurwa, gdzie ten Amit? Oh. Kurwa, Amit, powiem ci. Ciężko by tu się dostać, ale widok zapiera dech w piersiach. O, w miotłach latają. Trenują chyba do meczu Quidditcha.
Hello,
Hey, bratku.
Amit. Do I recall you saying that you speak gobbledygook?
I did. I mean, I do. Speak it. Is this to do with the goblin I saw you with in Hogsmeade?
It is. His name is Lodgok. We could use your help with something. He's waiting for me near a goblin mine. Would you be willing to help?
Of course. How exciting. I mean, well, might this be dangerous?
I think he simply wants to show me something that involves gobbledygook. If it helps, he's a friend of Sirona's.
Good to hear. Good to hear. If Sirona trusts him, then I feel much better.
Siemanko, Landcock.
A friend who speaks gobbledygook is meeting us. Before he arrives, perhaps you could tell me why we're here?
Of course. Unfortunately, presenting Ranrock with the Helmet of Urtkot did not have the effect I'd hoped. Because he knew the details surrounding its plunder, he presumed I'd had help from a witch or wizard in retrieving it.
You said this would repair the chasm between the two of you. How did you not expect him to react this way?
I'm afraid we do not have the luxury of rational expectation when it comes to Ranrock. Damn Bragbor and his blasted journals.
Bragbor?
An ancestor of Ranrock's, renowned metalworker. If we are to work together, I suppose I must tell you more. Not long ago, Ranrock sent me to collect a recently unearthed set of Bragbor's journals. They described repositories that Bragbor had been commissioned to build for a group of witches and wizards.
What do you mean, repositories?
Large, magically fortified receptacles crafted
Okej, to są
from
te
goblin
składnice na
metal.
tą magię.
Ranrock recruited
Magię
others
tego,
to help
tam
me
czerwoną
locate
magię
the
bólu.
repositories. We were to search anywhere that was connected to 5 names mentioned in the journals. Rackham, Fitzgerald, Bakar, Morganach, and Rookwood.
Rookwood Castle.
That is where we began our search.
Why does Ranrock care so much about these repositories?
He cares about what they contain. For centuries, wizards have refused to share their magical knowledge with goblins. Your kind will not even let us carry wands. Thus, many goblins, myself included, have spent our lives mistrusting wizard kind. Ranrock was convinced that the repositories contained a magical power that wizards wanted to keep for themselves. He is determined to take it for goblin kind. But
Here comes my friend Amit. Probably best to continue our conversation later.
Greetings, Lodgok. It is an honor, sir.
You speak gobbledygook.
Oh, Bacalio.
Ankara Messi, Ankara Messi.
Please do not tell me that was meant to be gobbledygook.
Well, yes. Perhaps my pronunciation was a bit off.
Amit and I can do this.
I will await your return.
The door is looking at us.
Tak, ale nic nie widzą. Niby takie mądre, ale zobacz, otwarły się. Chodź. Okej. Są gobliny.
Wizard kind will submit to us once the war is over.
Tu jest Rangrok. Nie. O, stary, to moim zdaniem... Jeszcze w powietrzu zebrałem z jego item.
Expelliarmus. This is not good. They're building enormous drills, bigger than this mine could contain.
Górnicy, strzeleni górnicy. Mogliśmy się tego domyślić. Kurka, jazda. Amit! Chyba nam się udało, mamy wszystko.
Can we please talk about...
That wasn't so bad, was it?
It was. It really was. I'm afraid I've had enough adventure for one day. For a lifetime, perhaps.
Thank you, Amit. I couldn't have done it without you. Now,
Amika
if
wronki,
you
bez
don't
ciebie by się nie
mind,
udało.
I'd like to have a word with Lodgok.
Understood? I'll leave you to it. Your goblin secrets are safe with me, but I get to write the book about this escapade
Nie
someday.
ma problemu, będą o tym książki, stary. Do zobaczenia.
They're building enormous drills. We found their plans. Ranrock must be searching for the repositories.
I fear you are correct. Other than Rookwood Castle, however, I do not know where else he plans to search.
I've been wondering about something else you said before we entered the mine.
Yes?
If you share Ranrock's views, then why are you helping me?
I expected Rookwood Castle to be deserted when I arrived to begin my search. So was surprised to find a witch there who had set up a sort of improvised research site. She was studying something so intently that she almost didn't notice me.
No mówi o tej dziewczynie, no.
When she looked up, I thought she would react with fear or disdain. But instead she did something that I will never forget. Without a moment's hesitation, she smiled and asked me to sit with her. She told me that she was a researcher and showed me a small, oddly shaped container with a strange symbol on it. She was certain it was made of goblin metal, but was unable to open it. She wanted to work together.
Miriam.
Yes. But how did you...
Professor Fig's wife. He told me of her research, and I know of the container.
Ah. The reverence with which she talked of goblins and their intelligence and skill, it caught me entirely off guard. I'd never been treated with such respect by a witch or wizard. So, to my surprise, I let her study the container if she would allow me to search the castle on my own. We parted ways, with her promising to share what she'd learned. More of Ranrock's recruits arrived, and we began to dig, eventually locating the first repository. Ranrock was thrilled with our discovery, but furious when I told him about Miriam. Berated me for trusting a witch, and I heard she'd been killed.
A Logan stoi jak Logan.
You think Ranrock murdered her?
Logan do Logan thinks.
I don't want to believe it, but I don't know. After that, something shifted in me.
Tak, mocy skarbstwie zła. Niszczy banie im.
Transforming all of them. I could no longer remain a part of it.
Thank you, Lodgok, for telling me this.
I tell you all of this so that you understand what is at stake. Ranrock never found all of Bragbor's journals, but the ones he did find suggest that Bragbor at some point built a repository far greater in size than the one beneath Rookwood Castle. What you've discovered here today worries me deeply. If Ranrock learns of the location of that repository, I fear we shall be destined for a great war. I will find out what Ranrock knows. Watch for my owl.
Game changer, game changer.
This is a change of pace from our last outing.
Don't remind me. The thought of that tent still makes my blood boil. I've been thinking about those poor dragons in the fighting ring. The collars they were wearing, they appeared to be goblin silver. I think a collar is precisely what we found at that poacher camp. I've never known poachers to use anything like that before.
The dragon that attacked my carriage was wearing a collar, and Professor Fig was genuinely baffled by its behavior.
That attack always did strike me as a little strange, seemingly coming out of nowhere. Surely you aren't suggesting that the collars somehow control the poor creatures?
Te obroże są nasączone tą złą magią.
I don't think the dragon we set free was wearing a collar, but we should check. And if we can find her, we can return her egg.
Tak, trzeba jej odszukać, ale wydaje mi się, że nie miała obroży.
That's a good idea. We need to see this
Spalony,
through.
1-1.
I'll start looking into it right away. There was
Okej, dzięki za
something
info.
else that I wanted to discuss with you. I didn't want to press it before. It seems I may have caused you more trouble with Victor Rookwood. Why is he after you?
A na razie wolę nie mówić.
If it's all right with you, I'd rather not say. At least not at the moment.
Ściany mają uszy.
Understood. We all have our secrets. I shan't press for more details. In fact, I should probably be going. I'd like to track that dragon down as soon as I can.
Okej, spotkamy się z Sebastianem w sprawie tej czarnej magii. Jestem. Wzywałeś mnie.
Did you speak with my uncle?
I wish I had better news about your uncle and Anne.
Well, What did he say?
I'm afraid he wants you nowhere near Feldcroft. Nor Anne.
I had to stop that goblin from killing my sister. He had no right to banish me from my own twin. If he thinks banishing me means I'm going to give up on Anne, he's sorely mistaken.
He also said he cannot excuse the use of dark magic in any form, and that if he hears of either of us using it, he'll go straight to Professor Black.
Huh? That relic, dark magic or not, is the key to saving Anne. To reverse that curse. I will not lose Anne for good.
A
I
może
shall
ma
send
rację.
the crest to Anne. She'll know that we need to meet.
I'm afraid I don't follow.
Nothing, just a thought. Now I'm more determined than ever to learn what power that relic has.
Właśnie, jaki herb wysyłasz Annie?
What did
Annie?
you mean you'd send Anne a crest so that she'd know to meet you?
We just lost our parents, and we were packing up to go and live with Solomon. We couldn't take everything. She was carefully organizing her prized possessions, a box of artifacts she'd collected to do with our family. Jewelry, cards, old photographs. She got to her favorite, a handmade crest, and without a second thought, she handed it to me. This will keep you safe, she said. It holds no enchantment, but I've kept it with me since. That's how I can reach Anne. I'll get the crest to her with plans to meet.
Be careful, Sebastian. Your uncle could intercept it. We'll be expelled.
Even if Ominous is upset with us, he has no love lost for his family. He'd use their connections to the headmaster if we needed his help.
I shall wait to hear from you then.
Thank you. I very much appreciate you standing by me through all of this.
Dzięki wielkie.
I'll send you an hour when I have news.
Oczywiście. Jesteśmy na łączach. Świetnie, spotkaliśmy się z Poppy, z Sebastianem. Podstawy szantażu, a teraz naszą koleżną przyjaciół. Mamy takich w sumie 3 przyjaciół. Ten Amif w sumie też się zakumplował z nami. Sięgając, nie wiem, porozmawiać z Imentą, to w takim razie podstawy szantażu. Eti, to ja. Chciałeś się spotkać. O co biega?
I'm ready to do what's needed to take Harlow down. I know you have a plan.
We must gather information from the friends of Mr. Bickle that Archie and Mrs. Bickle mentioned. Agabus Filbert, Otto Dibble, and Mr. and Mrs. Rabe.
All right.
I suggest that you speak with each of them while I head to the Hogshead. I saw some Ashwinders heading
Jasne,
there.
możesz na mnie liczyć.
And as my mother would never go near the Hogshead, she is less likely to learn of my activities than if I were to wander the village questioning its residents.
Jasne, ale wydaje mi się, że jak cię Matula się dowie, to chyba wylecisz, albo ci da jakiś szlaban.
What sort of information am I trying to gather from these people?
They may know what evidence Mr. Bickle had against Harlow, or they may have evidence of their own. We simply need to know whatever they know.
Okej, gdzie ich znajdę?
Where am I to find these friends of his?
I do not know about Mr. Rabe, but his wife, Daisy, is often in Hogsmeade, as is Agabus Filbert. And Otto Dibble, he works at Gladrags, so you will likely find him there.
Świetnie, w takim razie lecę.
Very well. I'll speak with them, see what I can learn.
I knew I could rely on you. We need to know how they are being blackmailed by Rookwood and Harlow. Meet me here after you have spoken with them. Hopefully, by the time you return, I will be able to move a
Okej,
bit
spoko.
more freely.
To co załatwię. Wbijamy do Hogsmeade, przyjdziemy się po zaśnieżonym Hogsmeade. No, to pewnie jest tak z 13 godzina. 14, 15 się będzie ciemno robić.